Hey, ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up for Debbie Center joining us today for the Sandbar stage. We're excited. I'm excited to have you. It's been such a fun time playing with you and having projects with you over the years.
It has.
It definitely has been. So I'm excited for you to share a little bit about your experience with even what you've done for a living in Colorado, and just your upbringing and what your father, all the I want all the details, man. I would love to hear.
All the details. How long you got?
We would love to hear you on that. So that would be wonderful.
Well, thank you. I grew up in Colorado, moved here full time 12 years ago, fell in love with this area and lake life and everything. Did not have that in Colorado. But grew up with my dad, who was a child prodigy violinist. He was on tour at the ripe old age of 6 and went to Juilliard when he was 6 for violin. So he was certainly and easily my main musical influence. Hi, Alex. Didn't even see you out there. Hi, Sulan. Anyway, and so that was my main influence. Dad was in the Navy, and he was the concert master of the Navy Band and Orchestra. And then we moved to Colorado, where he was with the Denver Symphony. So I had a lot of music in my background growing up, and started piano lessons when I was about 7 years old, and grew up playing a lot of classical. But my real love is improvising, a lot of classic rock kind of style, and Grateful Dead and stuff like that. And then the originals that I do are pretty much all based on nature sounds. So I'll talk about that a little bit more. I'm going to play 3 originals for you guys, and we'll talk about the Minnesota inspiration for those 3 pieces of music. So taught piano lessons in Colorado for probably 20 years, and so certainly the whole theory background is pretty solid, and yeah, I guess that's about it for now.
Yes, and welcome to Minnesota. Well, how do you like Minnesota in comparison to Colorado? What do you see some of the pros and cons being in both places?
Well, Colorado was a wonderful place to grow up, but it has gotten so overcrowded now, and a lot of crime, a lot of pollution, and incredibly expensive place to live. So, driving around there anywhere is just a huge hassle. It's just, one rush hour after another, no matter what time you're driving. And I started spending summers up here in probably the late 1900s, maybe early 2000s, and just absolutely fell in love with small town life and lake life, and the music community up here is just amazing. Music and art community, lots of us up here. And the music community has absolutely welcomed me with open arms, and that's just been fantastic. I've met so many great musicians here and gotten a chance to jam with a lot of them. Spent 5 years in a Grateful Dead cover band, Terrapin Brothers, down over at Terrapin Station in Nevis. That was a lot of fun. So, yeah, this is home now, absolutely.
Yes, I agree totally with the traffic and all. It's amazing being in this. Park Rapids is a beautiful place. Park Rapids people, are we fans of Park Rapids? Come on now, woo! Oh man, we don't have to deal with a lot of traffic and a lot of things. It's beautiful here. Yeah. I feel very lucky to be here. So
me too. We're just getting through no left turn season. Things are starting to calm back down now that school's starting, and some of the tourists are leaving again. Of course, we adore our tourists and rely heavily on the tourist industry, but it's kind of nice when it calms back down again this time of year.
Yes. Well, I look forward to hearing you. Let's hear it one more time for Debbie Center. She's going to be playing for us for a YouTube channel, Sandbar Stage.
Woo. Thank you very much.
We're excited to capture this moment for you.
Well, the first one that I'm going to play is a piece that I wrote many years ago, after moving here full-time, though, called Dance of the Loons. And the loons, when you're a musician, you tend to hear bird calls a little bit differently, or at least I certainly do. I notice the pitches that the different birds sing in, and they're very consistent with their pitches. So one day we were out kayaking, and a pair of loons serenaded us for a long time, and I recorded them, and then actually pulled the audio from this pair of loons, went inside, and found the notes that they were singing. And there's 4 different loon calls. My favorite is the whale call, and that's this one. I'll play just a second of it for you here. Some of you, I'm sure, already know it, but... All right, that's the whale call. And how many notes, if anybody who's actually... Can you guys actually hear me talking okay? Can you hear this? Okay, good. How many notes are you hearing in that whale call? Let me play it one more time. 3, maybe 4, because it kind of, at the end of there, right? Okay, now I'm going to play those notes. Those are the notes that loon is singing. So I'm going to play it with the loon now, just to show you again. Okay? So based on those 3 notes, I wrote Dance of the Loons. The loons go on to do the tremolo call a little bit later in this recording, and that's more of the that one. And that one I kind of tend to mimic with. And purposely, part of the beginning of this piece sounds kind of eerie, kind of creepy. Because when it's pitch black out and those loons are calling and it just gets you right in the spine and you get the shivers. It's so beautiful. So I'm trying to kind of incorporate that sort of feel in this Dance of the Loons. So without further ado, I will play for you Dance of the Loons. Thank you very much, you guys. Thank you. That is on my first album. It's called In Harmony Always, which is sort of my credo, I guess you could say, the way that I attempt to live my life in harmony always with everything around me. I'm not always successful, but I try. So that is the name of that album, and it's available on any of the streaming services. So that whole album is lots of just nature stuff that I wrote. There's another piece that I'm about to play for you that's on that album as well called Song of the Northwoods Chickadees. And when I recorded the album, I also recorded separate tracks with just those nature calls because I also published the sheet music for all my pieces. So especially like music teachers all over are, either teaching their students or performing them themselves. And that way they can play that music along with the loon calls like I'm doing. So that's kind of a cool thing too. And that's available at a company called Piano Pronto, and they're based out of Temecula, California. So we were just talking about that on the way here. We've got some Temecula connections over here. So shout out to Jennifer Eklund. All right, so this next piece is called Song of the Northwoods Chickadees. And I'll talk about that a little bit when I get that queued up, so hang on. Here it is. All right, you guys have heard that call? The chickadees? Okay, just that simple 2-note call. That call, okay, it's just B-A. Very simple 2-note call. Sometimes they barely lower it. Oops. So that's A-G for my fellow musicians. So let's hear that again one more time. Pretty simple little melody there. And I recently learned, and I don't know if it's true, I read it on Facebook, so it must be true, that 2-note call of the chickadees is a territorial call, and it is a sign of spring. So I really never paid attention, but you don't hear that call very much during the winter. And then when it finally starts to become spring again, they start doing that little 2-note call. So everybody says, yeah, it's getting to be spring. So I'll, start watching for that too. So this is Song of the Northwoods Chickadees. And once again, I recorded these chickadees just right at our house using those 2 notes and created this piece, Song of the Northwoods Chickadees. By the way, one of my dreams is to write movie soundtracks. So a lot of these pieces that you'll hear, I try to help people to feel that peacefulness that we get to feel when we're out in nature and we're out on the water like this. And a lot of people don't get to experience that. So if my music can kind of help bring a little much needed calmness these days, then mission accomplished there too. All right, so Song of the Northwoods Chickadees. you. That's Song of the North with Chickadees. So the next one, actually, let me do something here. Looks to me like we have some hunting type folks in the audience. See if you guys know what this sound is, which bird, Minnesota bird, this sound is from. And this is wings, okay? You guys ever heard that call? Not a call, the wing sound, whistling wings. Anybody know what that is? To me, it is kind of a quintessential sound of spring or fall, because at our house where we live in Nevis, we live on a major migration route. So this particular bird we only see for about 2 weeks in the spring and about 2 weeks in the fall. That is the goldeneye. And that is it's a duck. It's a black and white duck. It's got a big circle kind of on its cheek, a white circle on its cheek. And it's got this wonderful whistling wings. So they take off in these big flocks across the sky in the spring or in the fall, and they make that whistling sound. So one day, I took a picture of some goldeneyes, and I'm going to lift it up. You guys, unfortunately, are not going to be able to see it unless you go to the video that we're going to create and hopefully publish on Monday, I think it is. Is that right, Kelly? Okay. But I'm going to hold it up so that Kelly or Kyle can zoom in on this picture. So hang on. Which one are you guys? You? Okay. So this is a photograph that I took from our house many years ago of the goldeneyes out on the water, and it was in the spring. It was when the ice was just starting to break up, and these goldeneyes were out there. And I put this picture on Facebook, and there's a whole bunch of goldeneyes, and somebody mentioned that the birds looked like music notes. So I said, okay, challenge accepted. So using Photoshop, I added a music staff right across the birds, leaving them exactly where they were, okay, and then acted as though that was a treble clef and found what notes those birds were showing on the staff, okay? So those birds were showing C, F, C, F, A, E, B, C, G, B. And I thought, well, I'm going to create a piece of music based on these goldeneyes pattern in the water. So those notes are this: C, F, C, F, A, E, B, C, G, B. Ah, crap. 'Cause that doesn't sound very good, does it? And I thought, well, so much for that idea. But then I decided to kind of tinker a little bit, and any of the musicians in the audience will understand that some of those notes I made flat. So, for example, instead of A natural, I made it an A flat. So it's still an A, but it's an A flat. B, I made into a B flat, and E, I made into an E flat. So now our little melody is this. It's a lot prettier, a little something that maybe I can work with, but it's kind of short. So I decided, okay, now we're going to play that same thing backwards. So from right to left, it's... And that's my melody. So this is Goldeneye's Farewell. This one is also, the sheet music is available at this Piano Pronto. Thank you. Thank you very much. All right, I've got just one more to share with you guys. I have to bring up a sound again here. Hang on. Okay. So I mentioned my dad earlier. Dad unfortunately died when I was only 14 years old. He was only 51, had a heart attack. But he went to work when he was 6, started touring on the violin when he was only 6. So he still got in quite the lifetime of music. And he played the violin for his job. But his fun instrument, the way he relaxed, was to play guitar. And not just for any guitar. He played classical guitar and flamenco guitar. And that was his way of relaxing. And one piece that he played was called Recuerdos de la Alhambra, which in English is Recollections of the Alhambra. And Alhambra is a place in Spain. And it's a very old piece of music. And for years after Dad died, I could not listen to that piece. He had tried to teach it to me when I was a kid, just sort of the basic melody line on the guitar. And we would try to play it as a duet. And it was okay, but, I was not really a guitar player. But we kept trying. And so anyway, I just couldn't listen to that piece for the longest time after he died. And finally, several years went by, and I made friends with that piece again. And I decided to arrange it for solo piano because I knew I would never be able to play it on the guitar. Well, now we fast forward a few more years, and my cousin sent me a tape recording. Remember those? Cassette tape. A tape recording of Dad. He had recorded himself playing that piece on the guitar. And I didn't know that recording existed. And I was in my car one day listening to all these different pieces, and the Recuerdos came on, and I had to pull over because I was just so emotional to hear Dad and to hear his voice again. He introduces the song, and to hear his voice after all those years. I mean, now at this point, it's been 50 years since he died. So I am going to play a duet with Dad. This is inspired by Nat King Cole, and Natalie Cole did this posthumously. She recorded some pieces with her dad that way. And I know some other musicians have done that too with their parents who have died. So this is Dad and I playing Recuerdos de la Alhambra. And you'll hear him introducing it just a little bit first on the tape. So I hope you guys will be able to hear it. If not, you'll be able to hear it better on the video that Kelly will be generous enough to put together and publish on Monday. So here's Dad.
Seems to me this tremolo exercise would be a good one. A guy by the name of Tariga wrote an exercise for tremolo, which means, notes repeated over and over again like that. And it became so popular that he even gave it a name. He called it The Recollections of the Alhambra. And I shall endeavor to play it for you now. Well, that wasn't the best I've ever done, but let's see how much tape we've got left here. Oh, we got a whole half a side of tape here yet left.
On that tape is several other flamenco pieces that he played. So that's it. That's thanks for joining me, Dad. Pretty surreal to have someone who died 50 years ago now join me in a place like this and have his voice echo across the water and reach out to all of you. So it's kind of a neat experience. So thank you so much. Thank you so much, Kelly, for creating this amazing Sandbar stage. What a unique opportunity for all of us. Certainly as musicians, what an amazing place to get to play with other musicians. And for you guys, hopefully you're enjoying coming and bringing out your boats, and to the hot dog cookers over here, that's an awesome thing. Special shout out to the hot dog guys and just all of you. We're going to keep this thing going as long as the weather is nice. And we do have Mr. Jones, is that right? Out in the middle there, in case you guys feel like donating anything. Any donations, I believe, are still going to Yes. Is that correct, Kelly? Yes. Yes, which is the youth foundation here in Park Rapids to help kind of at-risk teens, right, or at-risk youth. So this is how we kind of try to pay it forward a little bit too, and support our community by just getting to know each other a little bit and building some friendships along the way and helping those a little bit less fortunate. So thank you again, everybody. Appreciate it. Look for all of our videos on Sandbar Stage on YouTube, and we'll see what's next. Thanks again, guys. Phew.